Hello everybody, this is the Photoshop Workbench and I'm Mark Johnson. If you've watched even a few of my Photoshop Workbench tutorials, you know that adjustment layers are a great way to alter mood and lighting. But what you might not know is that there is a powerful, fun, and simple alternative to adjustment layers: blend modes. That's right folks, blend modes are good for a whole lot more than just blending layers. Whenever an image looks flat or simply needs more drama, blend modes rise to the occasion. Allow me to show you what I mean. So we're beginning with this image right here that is already beautiful and very dramatic, but it is, by its very nature, kind of flat. And I want to see what will happen if we use blend modes to accentuate the contrast, bring out the fog here a little bit more. Let's just see what happens with this as we use blend modes to alter it. First thing we're going to do is add a blank new layer by clicking right here. Now, when I click right here to add the blank new layer, if I hold down Option on the Mac or Alt on the PC, I can get this little new layer dialog. The reason I like this dialog is because I can dive right in here and select the blend mode that I'd like to work with. And in this instance, I want to choose Soft Light. So I'll go ahead and press OK. Now, if you didn't hold down Option or Alt when you clicked on the new layer icon, you could always change the blend mode right up here. Alright, so we have blank new layer in soft light blend mode. If we fill this layer with black, you're going to find that that automatically adds some contrast and saturation to the picture. Now, to fill with black, you can either choose Edit, Fill, and you can use black and click OK. Or if you like keyboard shortcuts, you can come down here. My default colors are black foreground, white background. I want to fill with that foreground color, so I'm going to press Option Delete on the Mac. That's Alt Backspace on the PC. Notice how this layer, this black layer in soft light blend mode, adds drama. So we have more contrast, we have richer blacks, and we have more saturation. Immediately, the image is taking on a more dramatic look. Now, if this is too strong, you can pull the opacity, and I like to do this with the scrubby sliders, so I can click right here on the word opacity and I can pull left to reduce the intensity of that layer. But I'm going to let it be nearly full here. Let's go with something like that. Alright, so soft light blend mode, layer filled with black. Now what we're going to do is we are going to introduce light selectively to this scene. And we're going to do this by adding yet another blank new layer. So I'll hold down Option on the Mac. Let me actually move this up just a little bit. Option on the Mac, Alt on the PC. And I'll click right here, create a new layer, and this time around I'm going to change the blend mode from normal to overlay. Press OK. Alright, now when we apply white paint to this layer, it's going to be like shining a spotlight on those areas. Don't worry if it's a little bit too intense at first. You can control that in a couple of ways that I'll show you in just a moment. I want to add light to this wonderful path that is headed back through the woods here. So I'll select the brush by tapping B. I'll set white to the foreground by tapping X or clicking this arrow that you see here. I'm at 100% opacity. I have a soft edge brush, and I can make it bigger by tapping the right bracket key. Now I'm going to start painting back here, and again, it's pretty intense, but don't worry, that's okay. It's really easy to adjust that. So go ahead and let it be intense and paint away, and then we'll fix it up in just a moment. So I'm just going to paint into these areas right through here, because this is really where I want to draw the eye. And as you know, light and contrast, as well as saturation, draw the eye to a specific area. Okay, so we've got that. Now, kind of looks like I got in there with a bright brush and painted over that. It's too intense. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to soften the edges of where I painted. Even though I used a fully soft edge brush, when it got smaller, the edges were just a little bit too defined. So I'll come up here to the filter menu and I'll choose Blur, Gaussian Blur. Okay, and I will change the radius until that has a nice look to it. And something around here looks pretty good. Yeah, So I like the way that looks. I'll press OK. Now, if it's still too bright, what I can do is reduce the opacity right here. Might go with something kind of like that. So here's the result of that layer. Let me back it down just a little bit more. Alright, so again, just a blank layer in overlay blend mode and apply white paint. And it adds beautiful light to your scene. Alright, now let's do something to accentuate this beautiful mist that we see right here. And to do that, we're going to add a third new layer, holding down Option or Alt. And this time we're going to change the blend mode to soft light. Alright, I'll press OK. And instead of using the brush, we're going to do something a little different this time. We're going to go over to the gradient right here. And in the options bar, we want to set the gradient type, or actually not, this is not the gradient type, sorry, this is the what it transitions from and to. We want to go from foreground to transparent. I'm going to make sure white is our foreground, and it is. If it weren't, I would tap X to swap it. And then we want to come over here to the radial gradient, activate that, and now watch what happens when I click and drag out a line. Look at that. So I undid that. I'm going to do this. So you see you can just get right in here and you can add that beautiful misty effect to your scene. Unbelievable. This is stunning. Absolutely gorgeous. There we go. Got that wonderful misty effect in our scene just by dragging a series of radial gradients through here. Just like that. So this is a blank layer in soft light mode. We could either paint on it with white paint, or we could use the gradient, and we'd use the radial gradient here to create a series of, it's probably a little hard to see, but these are just little radial gradients. And that soft light blend mode is what's allowing these to interact with what's below and add that sort of very flat, soft, beautiful light to the scene in the misty area. So really 3 layers here. A blank layer with white paint in soft light mode to add soft, kind of flat light. Blank layer in overlay mode with white paint on it to add more intense, more dramatic light. And then a blank layer here in soft light mode filled with black to add contrast, more density to the blacks, and more saturation. And here's the result. We started here a few minutes ago, and we're now here. So we have a scene, and this is still looking a little bit intense to me. There we go. Okay, started here, and now we are here. All through the power of blend modes. What do you think? Anyway, that's it for today's workbench. One thing I do want to mention has been brought to my attention. Some people are having trouble viewing the workbenches at a big size. Just know that if you want to view, big size HD, then as soon as you start playing the video, go to the change quality. It looks like a little gear icon that's near the lower right corner, and choose 720p HD. Then click the full screen. It kind of looks like photo corners icon that's in the lower right corner, and that's going to allow you to watch my videos full screen. It's going to allow you to watch them in HD, and all these videos are now available on your mobile devices. So anyway, have a great day. Thanks for being with me on the Photoshop Workbench. Take care.